welcome back. It's still National Poetry Month, and today I'm going to be looking at some poems by William Blake. Now, it's come to my attention that I don't really have much Blake on my YouTube channel yet. I'm sorry. So today I'm going to fix that. Now, William Blake is famous for his engravings and his art, as well as his poetry. He's an early romantic poet with some really interesting impact on the world of poetry. He was fascinated with social justice, as well as his frustration with religion of his day. Towards the end of his life, his poetry got very complex, and was interested in a very complex kind of mythology, in which the soul and the body were unified. He talks about energy versus reason, and all of that came into this sort of complex porridge of an answer that said that the church was completely wrong about sin, and that satanic energy was kind of a good thing, because it's the true outpouring of the soul. It's weird. Some of his later stuff is a little bit hard to read. But going back to his earlier stuff, one of his most fascinating collections was Songs of Innocence and Songs of Experience. Technically 2 books, but combined. And they explore the ideas of being innocent versus having experience. And an innocent perspective might see the good in all things, even if they're very dark, whereas experience can expose the wrong that's being done. In these 2 books, he sort of takes on 2 personas as a poet. The piper who plays happy songs, and the bard who prophesies. There's sort of a progression from the happy piper who's playing songs for himself to the piper who realizes he needs to record and put forth his art for an audience. And finally, the bard who has a sort of divine message, perhaps, for his audience. In any case, in Songs of Innocence and Songs of Experience, there's a pair of poems, one in the Innocence portion and one in the Experience portion, which are often cited. The first sounds something like a nursery rhyme, The Lamb by William Blake. Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Gave thee life and bid thee feed by the streams and o'er the mead. Gave thee clothing of delight, softest clothing woolly bright. Gave thee such a tender voice, making all the vales rejoice. Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Little lamb, I'll tell thee. Little lamb, I'll tell thee. He is called by thy name, for he calls himself a lamb. He is meek and he is mild, he became a little child. I a child, and thou a lamb, we are called by his name. Little lamb, God bless thee. Little lamb, God bless thee. There's an innocence as the child talks about the lamb and sees how God's gentleness is seen in his creation of a lamb. On the other hand, we have the complementary poem, The Tiger. You can hear this poem as a counterpoint to the previous one. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? In what distant deeps and skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer? What the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil? What dread clasp? Dare its deadly terrors clasp? When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who make the lamb make thee? Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry? So it was the same God that made the sweet, gentle, innocent little lamb, the God that made the terrifying, violent tiger? Blake's voice in this book wonders how to synthesize these 2 images of God. Of course, he doesn't bother to answer it for us. And the idea is that neither innocence nor experience by itself completely has the full picture. In fact, as we continue to read Blake, we find that images of innocence sometimes creep into experience, and images of experience sometimes creep into innocence. But his poems go on to become even more complex. I'm going to close with one more entitled London, which is a sonnet that is sort of a cry out against the horrors that he sees in this beautiful city. London. I wandered through each chartered street, near where the chartered Thames does flow, and mark in every face I meet marks of weakness, marks of woe. In every cry of every man, in every infant's cry of fear, in every voice, in every band, the mind-forged manacles I hear. How the chimney sweepers cry, every blackening church appalls, and the hapless soldier's sigh runs in blood down palace walls. But most through midnight streets I hear how the youthful harlot's curse blasts the newborn infant's tear and blights with plagues the marriage hearse. So check out Blake and check out his art, which is really incredible. He's got some weird stuff, but he's also got some very powerful images, and he's worth reading more of just for his influence. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow with another poem.